Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So what we do here today is we're going to graft some queen cell, and then we're just gonna making sure everything is set up alright here. So what we're gonna do here is we will just have to find the queen first, and then we're gonna put it in the lower bottom board, and then we're gonna basically separate them with the excluder, and we will put our graft frames in here. So I'll take it, basically show you how the graft frame look like. So that's our little graft frame. So what we do here is we find the larvae with about 2-3 days old. We put it in here, and then we will just slot it back in here, and we will cover up with the frame or the cloak board to stop the pheromone going up. So they will see there is no queen pheromone in here. They will start the emergency what we call impulse to actually get that cell build up quickly. And then after 24 hours we come back here and remove the cloak board, maybe tomorrow, yeah. And then we will just try to feed them a little bits of sugar to keep them happy. And then after 10 days we should have our queen hatch from these, and then we can actually take them out and send it to people, you know, send it away. You can sell them as well. So let's get started. Right, so what we're doing now here is we will try to find the queen first. Yeah, once you find the queen, you're gonna put it down at the bottom board, so she stay in here for the next 10-12 days. And then we put a cloak board in here to stop the pheromone going up to the second box. Well, so we did find a queen, so she's not up in the top box, so she's always down here. Then we don't need to do anything for now, so we just have to put everything back in here, and we're going to check the top boot box to find the larvae, you know, 2-3 old larvae to graft from. And then we shut this up with the cloak board. And then this is how the cloak board looks like. It's like a metal plate over here to actually open and close. So it's like a queen excluder kind of design. So the bees can come up, but the queen is basically got blocked off by this thing. So we're gonna shut them, separate them between the top and the bottom box, so the pheromone will not go up there. Okay, so let's get this started. Okay, now we're gonna put the cloak board back on top here, and the second box entrance will be going backwards, so the bees will be flying back at the back of the hive, and then they will use the board to actually let them to walk up to the second box so they can work on the queen cell. So the board is on. Let's get them shut, and then let's set that up. So we're gonna keep this for like 4 or 5 hours to let the bees got no sense, or they can't sense any queen's appearances. So we need to basically stop the pheromone at the moment. Yeah, make it all shut now. So we go and find the best cell to actually graft from the second box. Okay guys, we've done the setup. So we basically found a queen. So like I say, the queen will be down at the bottom. So we separate them by the cloak board, and we block off the pheromone so the queen sense can't actually go up here. So the queen cell bar that I just mentioned is in here, together with the 2-3 years old larvae all together. So when I graft later on, 4 or 5 hours later, they will basically easy for me to grab it whole together, 2 frames together, out from this without disturbing this. So there will be 2 entrances. One will be from the front, that's going into the bottom box, and then there is another second entrance over here which I put a board here so the bee can walk up here and walk into the second hive, into the second box. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna sit here and wait for 4 hours, and then after 4 hours and the bees can basically send there's no queen there, they will start the emergency impulse to work on that to actually take the cell much more better, and then I can actually graft that from there. So the graft maybe 15-20 minutes max, maybe 30 minutes, weather dependent, and then we can actually go from there. And we will come back tomorrow for part number 2, which is we're gonna remove the clock board so that the emergency impulse will become a supersedure impulse that will basically let them to produce the queen cell much better that way. And after that 10-12 days we will come back to basically remove that hive, not hive, I mean the queen cell, sorry. Yeah, so there we go. Let's basically put a pause here, and I'll be right back after 4 or 5 hours for the graft. Thank you. Okay, we're back here again. Now we're gonna do the grafting now. So the weather is turning bad at the moment, so it's gonna be raining later on, so we're gonna do this now. So we're gonna take the frame and the cell bar out and go back into the car, brush the bees off, and then we will graft the egg, and then we will just put everything back in place, seal them all up, and then we go back tomorrow and remove the clock board. Okay, let's get it started now. Okay, now let's start the graft. Another one. We've basically spoiled a few bad ones, so let's get a...
So that one's quite big.
Yeah.
But that will be less than 3 days old. That will work.
Okay, there we go. That's
on
on one. Okay, that's one done. So then we follow the second one.
You can usually find that they're in a pattern.
Yeah. No, the queen will just go to the next cell and just drop her right there. Drop her right there.
It's not holding that well. Okay, so that's the grafting. Now let's see if we can lucky in again. Third one now. Third one. Let's put it in here.
Yeah, I know. The water just stung me. Come on.
And then we got a few more here.
Where'd she go?
So do this really gently.
So obviously you want them young. You can't take the 1-day-old eggs?
No, they've got to be hatched.
Okay.
But I guess if you did take them, they would hatch the next day.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay, that's grafting. So we continue to work this out. So let's see how many we can put here. Our next one we didn't do it within 15-20 minutes. The best, you're gonna keep it at a really correct right temperature. Okay, so we graft them in the car. So we're gonna put this back in here. And then we're gonna sew them up. So that's done. So we will come back tomorrow and remove that cloak board, and then we'll come back in 10 days and check them how many cells are taken, and then we can ready to harvest the cell. Right, so just stay tuned for part 2. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, just like and subscribe. I know posting video quite regularly. Thank you again.